What is up, you guys? It is Maddie here, and today I'm bringing you another Elder Scrolls Online video. Today I'm going to be bringing you my most honest impressions about this game. The NDA has lifted, thus allowing me to talk about whatever I want in the beta of Elder Scrolls Online, so I'm going to do just that. Now, obviously, as you know, last week I was left with a bad taste in my mouth, but I want to clarify this and let you guys know I have play tested this game 3 times. I have put a lot of time into this game, so honestly, even though we have a bunch of big press guys doing it, probably my opinion will be the most solidified because I have had a lot of time with this game. So I just want to let you guys know that. Let me state a few more facts about my experiences with MMOs. The only MMOs I have played are RuneScape. I played that like all my childhood. I was totally hooked to that game. I played briefly WoW, and I briefly played Star Wars The Old Republic because I'm like the hugest coder fan you will ever meet, and The Old Republic just doesn't do it. But yeah, so I briefly played those, so I'm not this huge MMO expert like it seems like a lot of people are. And then last thing I want to state before I get into my opinions is I am not, no offense if you are like this, but I am not delusional, and I am not expecting a big Skyrim MMO. So yes, do not worry about that stuff. But without further ado, I just have this huge list of notes on my phone that I'm going to go through about what I liked, what I didn't like, what threw me off. And to be quite honest, this list isn't anything of the sort of me bashing or yelling at this game. It's just me providing constructive criticism because now that we're 2 months away from release, I want ZeniMax to have honest opinions on their play, especially from someone who has play tested so many times. And now that my the people I'm partnered with, Curse, have now partnered with ZeniMax, I now am going to get the next beta code regardless. So I'm going to have a 4th play test after this. So let's get on with this. So I played as both the Aldmeri Dominion as a High Elf Archer and in the Daggerfall Covenant as a Dark Elf Sorcerer. Comparing the two side by side, I really did enjoy Daggerfall over the Aldmeri Dominion. And I thought it was going to be opposite because in Skyrim, I was a High Elf. I love being the High Elf. But part of that had to do with combat, which I'll get into next. But yeah, I got to say that just the land, the lay of the land, the area variety in the Daggerfall Covenant, I really enjoyed. I got to about level 10 right on the dot on the last day of the 3rd beta. And I got to around level 7 because my character glitched on the Aldmeri Dominion, and I had to start over again. So I have to say, though, that I really did enjoy my Daggerfall Covenant playthrough a lot more. Now, I mentioned something about combat, so I'll get into that. Combat does, in fact, feel good, especially for an MMO. The hitboxes are as good as they'll get. You know, sometimes you'll be looking like you're swinging at air, and you'll hit them anyways. But it didn't feel like hotbar combat, which is important for us Elder Scrolls fans who are coming from only playing Elder Scrolls game fresh and brand new to the MMO scene, and really hoping that this isn't anything that'll push us away from the series. And I don't think the combat will do that to you. Like I said, a hotbar combat's like basically, you know, you have 1 through 6 on your keyboard, and you got a bunch of abilities laid out there, and usually you kind of just go through the same roll of abilities each time. You know, you freeze an enemy, you hit them a few times, you knock them down. And though I found myself doing that, I also found myself using melee because it does a sufficient amount of damage, which is something that you don't really see in an MMO. You know, last MMO I played was Star Wars The Old Republic, like I said, and you know, I felt like I was going through the same thing. I'd run up to a guy, I'd do a knockdown, then I'd do an electricity move, and then I'd hit him once with my lightsaber while my power's recharged, and then I did like a push or something, and I just kept going through that rap every time, and it got monotonous, and that's why I stopped playing after a month. For this, it feels like it's fresh. Now, I said I did not like a few things about combat. That's that melee, though it is good, the rest is what has me a little worried. Archery does suck from someone, because this is coming from someone who loved in Skyrim, for example, or really any Elder Scrolls game. Just, I love playing stealth in the caves. There's something about it. When I enter that cave, I love taking out my bow, getting down, and like just picking out people. But the thing is, and I mean, obviously, like I said, this is for the sake of an MMO. They're not going to put real-time, you know, arrows when you let them go. Like, you have to shoot ahead of the enemy. But, you know, it's soft lock. So, basically, I just have to shoot in the general vicinity of someone to hit them with my arrow, which is kind of immersion breaking. It makes sense, but it's quite unfortunate. And the next thing I'm worried about is that magic might be overpowered. The reason I say that is because both their powers are strong, and a lot of their knockdowns are very fast to charge. In fact, the first move you get, Crystal Shard, if you upgrade that, you know, it takes like a few seconds to start, and you do that, and then I can also get a move a little bit down the line which freezes someone if I upgrade that with a morphing ability, which is something you can do when you level up. I'll get into that in a little bit. Once you morph that ability, you know, it explodes, causing damage. So not only are you locking the person in place while you charge up another power, it just seems like it's an awesome, awesome class. Do not get me wrong. It was my favorite play experience I loved playing as a sorcerer, which is something I never do in an Elder Scrolls game, but I felt like it was a little overpowered. Next is the music really brings about an atmosphere, which is a staple in the Elder Scrolls franchise, and I'm glad they nailed it here. There's nothing really much to go on about that, but the music in both areas I played in, both factions, the Aldmeri Dominion and the Daggerfall Covenant, I enjoyed the music in both of them, and it really set the atmosphere. Now here's one of my gripes. Obviously, this is because it's an MMO. You don't want players flying by each other in the ranks, but I felt the progression system was a little too slow. Pardon me. It took a really long time to level up. Even, after in the survey they ask you, did it take too long to level up? And each time I've checked, yes. And it's gotten better over time. I tested once in November. I forgot when my second test was, and then I just tested a few weeks ago, or a week ago. And so it has gotten better over time, but this is obviously because when you kill a normal enemy, you don't get as much XP as you would, obviously to balance out the MMO, but once again, I am speaking from a guy who's played a few MMOs in his days, enjoyed them, but is more of an Elder Scrolls fan than anything. So yes, the progression system feels slow. It feels like going from to and fro places really isn't rewarding or anything like that. This is mainly because questing is your main form of leveling up in this game, and you'll be doing a lot of quests if you do really want to level up. Fighting enemies, like I said, does give a smidge of XP, but here's the fortunate part about quests. I always found that they were very interesting. I did not have one quest that felt like a typical fetch quest. Yes, every now and then you would have to go out and pick something up, but like gather 3 of these and 4 of these, but that's going to happen anyways, and it really makes the other quests a lot more special, and it really doesn't overstay its welcome. So it's nothing you should worry about if you're a professional or experienced MMO player. Next thing is that they also reward you with great items in these quests, which is one of my favorite things. I like being rewarded for my endeavors with special items and rare weapons and armor, which I will obviously be covering in the Elder Scrolls Online. But I love being rewarded for that stuff, for my hard work, with unique stuff that only you can get if you complete that quest. And it's always based off, what my character is, but to a degree, let's say I'm a sorcerer, I could get a two-handed sword because I can still use a two-handed sword as my sorcerer, just my skills for that aren't really designed for it. So it's quite interesting on how you can do that, and it makes the MMO feel a lot less limiting. One of my other pretty big gripes, and it's the thing that really upset me the most about this, is that exploration is very punishing in this game, which is not something you see in an Elder Scrolls game. One time, I'll just explain this through a story. I was exploring, and my favorite thing in Skyrim, and actually just any game that is an open world, is right off the bat, I like to just walk off and do what I want for a little bit, or progress in the main quest a little bit, then walk off, do what I want once I'm comfortable enough. And so after a few quests, I went to go out and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to go in this direction, I'm going to walk this way, and I'm going to go in the next thing I see. So I find a cave, and I go through all this stuff, and there's no reward at the end or anything, and then I go back to town, I get a quest, and lo and behold, it's back at this cave, and there's this whole new quest line for this cave, and there's a reward at the end and a special enemy, and that really bothered me because I loved just being able to enter a random cave in Skyrim, learn the story about this cave from the inside out, and fight a special enemy at the end, get a weapon that you can only get in this significant cave, or get a new ability from the significant cave, or some form of information. It really did bother me. Now, I was watching Shoddycast's beta review, and they did say that at one point they just asked for rumors from some person. They gave them this random area marked on their map. It wasn't a quest mark or anything. They went out, they found this whole new quest line, got some special armor and stuff after completing that quest line, and that's the type of stuff that I like. And if you're watching this Animect, I would love to see more of that. That is all of our favorite things, I think, in an Elder Scrolls game, is that seamless sense of exploration where I can go inside and know I'll be experiencing something new when I enter this random cave. Another thing I thought this game lacked, and I'm on like a roll here with the criticism. I really didn't leave this game unimpressed. I really did enjoy my playthrough, but I just kind of want to give them honestly what I think and not BS them and think that everything's all peachy when they could make a few improvements, because these are stuff that they could improve to a degree, like the amount of XP you get and the hitboxes for combat to a degree, maybe some more caves or something. They do have almost 2 months, a little bit less. And I think they could change this. Anyways, let's get into the next thing I had. There was a lack of solid tutorials for crafting. Now, each time you did open up a smithing or alchemy or an enchanting menu, it did bring up a explanation to it that made sense, and it is somewhat easy to figure out, but it could be easy to miss. Now, on top of that, obviously, this is for the sake, once again, of the MMO experience so that no one gets too far ahead of each other. But these resources for crafting are so few and far between. In my 3 beta testings, I only found iron ore. Now, granted, I didn't go out of my way to find it, but it didn't stick out in the environment. This iron ore looked like any other rock that was in the ground, and it was hidden in a corner behind an even bigger rock. So it's like, you know, make it a different color, make it shine, do something so it sticks out, at least so that, you know, when I see it, I'm like, oh, let me stop and get this real quick, you know, or not just me getting lucky, looking down at a rock and saying, oh, that's iron ore, and then taking that for smelting later to make it into iron bar. On top of that, what made it worse but also more interesting is that you can learn new styles for various crafting items which increase their stats. Like I can have a Breton robe or something like that. But the only way you can learn these styles is through reading books. Considering there are tons and tons and tons of lore books in this game that you find on like every table everywhere you go, you'll find these styles few and far between. In fact, in 3 of my play testings, I honestly did not find one. Now, obviously, when you're talking in the chat down low, people are telling you, oh, I found one in the starters area and stuff. But, like, why would I have to go all the way back there? Zenimax, once again, if you're watching this, I personally think you should pair these up with special quests that are not easy, quests that kind of go along with the level at which that item is. Like if something brings up my armor by 60, that should be like a level 20 quest or something like that. You get what I'm saying. I briefly tested the Fighters Guild, and it seemed interesting. There's obviously the Fighters Guild, the Mages Guild, the Thieves Guild, Dark Brotherhood, and something else. And I was gonna play into it more, but for the sake of just experiencing the game and really enjoying it when it comes out, I did not get too deep into it. But it seems like it'd be interesting. It's kind of what you'd expect. Probably starting off with the Fighters Guild wasn't my smartest choice, but I'm gonna have to delve deeper than a few quests to really find out what these guilds are all about. Now finally we're going on to PvP. Now I'm not going to BS you guys. I actually never had a chance to play PvP. The first time I made my character in the beta, like I said, he got erased, so I had to start over again because this was before they started saving characters. The second character I made got him to level 6 on my second test, and I went to play him on my third test, and unfortunately the main quest glitched. I had to abandon it and then start a new character on a guy who I got to level 9. So it was this big conundrum, and I never got around to playing PvP, and I was or level 10, I mean. And it was like, the final night at like 10 at night, and I just decided to go to bed. So I never got a chance to get my hands on PvP, but I am basing my impressions off of stuff that Angry Joe has said, stuff that Rev3 Games has said, so reliable sources, and I'm going to kind of just give you my opinions on what they said. Now, it looks like it sets out to do what it does for the most part, which are these huge epic battles, and they look so freaking cool, and I'm dying to be in a part of them. But the issues stand out more than its positives, which is obviously the insane combat that we all expected. This gripe is a travel time in between. Anytime you die, you just have to spawn at a keep wherever it's nearby. As long as it's not being attacked, you can spawn there. And considering Cyrodiil, which is the mainland, is absolutely huge in this game, running to and from the battle, wherever you spawn to the battle, is going to take a while, even if you are on a mount, and it can certainly look like it's going to be monotonous as hell. One way to avoid this is that you can set up tents, which almost serve as a spawn point, but they can get destroyed in a few hacks, which obviously breaks the experience. But obviously this is to balance out the MMO, because then if that thing doesn't get destroyed easy, then you can just keep spawning there, not really care about your lives. They have to find a good in-between or something along those lines to fix this issue. What I would suggest is upping the tent health a little bit and putting some type of shrine or something in between these paths to at least make travel less monotonous. So when I die, I know that I will want to go back in the battle, not sit there, lean back in my chair and be like, oh, I gotta run all this distance again. And in the end, man, it didn't leave the impression like past Elder Scrolls games that I have in the past where I'm like, all right, definitely getting that. But I am a huge Elder Scrolls fan, so in the end of this all, I am giving the chance it deserves. Is it worth your $15 a month? Which I want to cover real quickly, because people seem to not understand that I was really upset about the paywalls and the sub fees and how it's costing more and more money for us. Based off the fact that people thought I was poor, but they're like, get a job, dude, and you wouldn't have to complain about this stuff. But it's like, this is my job. I have plenty of money. I'm just speaking from an Elder Scroll fan's perspective, and the perspective of someone who does care about their money and is very economical. But Angry Joe put it perfectly. If this game did go free to play, it would sell tons, and it would definitely bring in a much bigger crowd than the subscription fee would. It would really even out. You would sell a lot more copies if you made it free to play, but the subscription fee will even out those people who don't buy it free to play or do buy it and pay that subscription fee, because they'll be paying an extra $15 a month. And I understand that this will bring us fresh content every now and then. I'm all for new DLC. I love new DLC. I love new content, and more Elder Scrolls is always a good thing. But man, it's expensive. Like, I'm not even lying. It's gonna be hard, because it looks like the game calendar is really starting to fill out, and wanting to pay $15 a month for an MMO on top of everything. I'm gonna give it the free month. I'm probably gonna pay for an extra month after that, and I'm really kind of doing this for my YouTube, because I have a bunch of fantastic video ideas that I will be able to bring you guys. And I'm dying to share them with you, and I think it will really bring us all together. I'd love to kind of get a community together every once in a while, and we could all go PvPing together. I could love the quest with you guys every now and then. It just seems like a fun community game that I could hop on with friends or fans, and that's something I've been looking for on my channel for the most part. But that's it from a YouTube perspective. From a gamer's perspective, though, I'm kind of hesitant, but for the most part, it's more Elder Scrolls, which I'm not complaining. It's not your Skyrim MMO that everyone thinks it's going to be. Obviously the graphics have been dumbed down. A lot has been sacrificed to making an MMO, but also an Elder Scrolls game. And for the most part, it succeeds at what it does, but I don't know. We'll have to see. So, damn, I did not know I could talk for that long. So if you sat through to 17 minutes, damn, you deserve a reward. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys really do admire my opinion. I did, like I said, test this game 3 times. Other than PvP, my opinion's pretty solid, and you can trust me. So I hope you guys do, and be sure to let me know in the comments what you think about this game. Like I said, the NDA has been lifted, so you can express your feelings down below. Let ZeniMax know what you think. I will be sending this to them, and hopefully they'll see this and maybe make some tweaks, because I feel like my complaints are alongside a bunch of other press members, and so I think that it will really stand out. Like the PvP changes, and the enemies in between areas changes and stuff like that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Other than that, stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.